Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. Hope you like this video. Hit the subscribe button. Easy for me to say. We're going to talk about really the free agents of Major League Baseball and the players that could be traded, that are sitting out there in the market, players that have been traded, players that are still out there to be signed, and players that have signed. Done this list a few times, and people have liked it, people have subscribed. I would mention I have a channel called The Prospect Hub where I talk about Mets prospects. I'll put the link in the description of this video. Hit the subscribe button going in there. I need, as I do this video, I need 68 subscribers to get to 1,000, and I won't bother you again about any new channels. I swear to God, I swear. But here we go. We're going to talk about the players, where they went, where they might go, and who's going where. Let's start at the top. Shohei Ohtani. Show me the money. Oh, they showed him the money, all right, the Dodgers. Giving him $700 million. And, of course, it wasn't really $700 million. The media told us that it was $460, even though it was $700. Well, he went to the Dodgers, 12-year deal, $700 million. The Yankees, the three blind mice were able to pull off a deal. They sent a bunch of middle relievers and a backup catcher to the Padres for Juan Soto. And he will play there for the coming season. And we'll see if he gets signed somewhere else. That's an interesting move. The Yankees, I would mention, the Yankees are a little desperate. I think that Hal Steinbrenner read them the riot act. As much as he can read it, he's not his father. Sure, he read them the riot act back in October when the season ended for the Yankees. And I think he probably told them, you either start making some big moves, really improve this ball club, or you guys are going to be out of here after this year. So, next up, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Now, he didn't say anything. But he had three teams in on him at the end, the Mets, the Yankees, and the Dodgers. The Mets offered him $325 million. The Yankees offered him $300 million. He went back to the Dodgers after the Mets had the highest offer and said, can you match it? And the Dodgers said, yeah. They said, yes, they could. Just like that, yeah. And they did. And he signed with the Dodgers. He did say that it didn't matter if Ohtani was going to be on the team or not. He was going to sign there. I don't think the Mets or the Yankees had any chance to sign him. Next up on my list is Cody Bellinger. He's still sitting out there. Scott Boras is looking for a $200 million deal for him. I don't know where he's going to get that from. I've heard the Cubs, the Giants, maybe not so much the Giants now, since they signed Jung-Ho Lee. Maybe not so much the Yankees now, because I would cross the Yankees off my list. I will cross them off because they burn a whole bunch of left-handed hitting outfielders with Soto and a few other guys. The other outfielder from the Padres, and of course Alex Verdugo, they all went to the Yankees. Aaron Nola, Cody Bellinger, get Boston in on them, Blue Jays in on them, of course, and the Cubs and the Giants. I don't know where he's going to go. Hopefully we'll have some movement. As I do this video, we have about 6 weeks before spring training, and we'll see what happens. Aaron Nola, he signed with the Phillies. Corbin Burns, we will see if he gets traded. The belief is that he will be traded. I've heard the Phillies, the Cardinals, Arizona, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Rangers, the Giants, San Diego, believe it or not, the Angels. I'll put Baltimore in here. I've been hearing a lot of things about Baltimore wanting to make a big deal. I don't know if they'll make a deal for a guy that has one more year on his contract. Willie Adames, believe it or not, he's probably going to get moved in a trade. I've heard the Dodgers a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to Tampa Bay. I've heard the Braves, believe it or not, San Francisco and Miami. Blake Snell, the two-time Cy Young Award winner. I've heard the Phillies, Arizona. Well, maybe not so much Arizona now, since they made that Eduardo Rodriguez deal, that they signed him. So I'll take Arizona out. I don't think he's going to sign there. The Cubs, the Rangers, the Cardinals. I'm still hearing the Cardinals with a pitcher. San Francisco, the Angels, Boston, I've heard prominently, the Padres, and the Yankees. He should stay away from a big market, particularly New York and Boston. He should go to a small market where the scrutiny will not be nearly as heavy on him. An East Coast team would not be good for him. The Cubs will be fine for him. The Rangers, Cardinals, the Angels, and the Giants. Those would be and maybe going back to the Padres. Those spots would be good for him. Jordan Montgomery. I've not heard anything beyond the Rangers and the Cardinals. I've heard the Yankees a little bit. I've heard Boston a little bit lately. We'll see where he goes. Third baseman Matt Chapman. I've heard the Dodgers. I've heard Toronto. Going back there. The Yankees, I don't think that's going to happen, although they're talking about Gio Urshela. The Giants, the Cubs, the Tigers, believe it or not, and the Mariners. The Mariners are looking for offense. I don't know if they'd be interested in him, but they did move Eugenio Suarez. Sonny Gray, as you know, signed with the Cardinals. Eduardo Rodriguez signed with the Diamondbacks. Josh Hader, I've heard the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, the Rangers, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. His market is interesting. I have not heard much from him, about him, quite frankly. Been very quiet on his market because he's looking for Edwin Diaz money. And now that we're in the new year, all these big deals that all these players are going to sign, they're not going to sign. They're not going to make as much money now as we get closer to spring training, and the pressure builds that these players sign for less than what they wanted. You know, the Yamamoto and Ohtani markets really slowed everything down, quite frankly. It was a very, very slow trading deadline. Very slow trading market this off season. Very slow free agent market. It's going to start picking up now the next 6 weeks. But it's been a bit of a disappointment going into 2024. Marcus Stroman, Houston, Arizona, the Cubs. I've heard the Mets, but not really, not for a while. I've heard Kansas City and the Angels. His market's been very quiet. Shota Amanaga, the next big Japanese pitcher, he will be meeting with teams this week. They said he was going to come into the United States this week. Left-handed pitcher. I've heard Boston, the Giants, San Diego. I've heard the Mets prominently, the Yankees prominently, the Cubs, and believe it or not, the Dodgers still. Jameer Candelario signed with the Reds. Jung-Ho Lee signed with the Giants. Excuse me. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. signed with the Diamondbacks. Mitch Garver signed with the Mariners. Lucas Giolito signed a 2-year deal with the Red Sox. The Mets were not going to give him a 2-year deal. He's not worth it. Kevin Kiermaier signed a contract, went back to the Blue Jays. Jorge Soler has interesting teams on him. The Giants, the Mariners, the Mets, the Angels, Boston, Cleveland, and Toronto. Rhys Hoskins, it doesn't matter. The guy that hurt his knee playing first base with the Phillies in spring training. I've heard Miami, Seattle, San Diego, the Cubs, Milwaukee. I haven't heard so much about the Mets, Washington, and the Angels. Teoscar Hernandez, Miami, Milwaukee, LA, Angels, Boston, San Diego. Those are the teams I've heard. Speaking of San Diego, Seth Lugo went to the Royals. The Royals spent money, and everybody, Major League, all the media is going crazy for the money that the Royals spent. They're going to lose 90 games. They're going to go from losing over 100 games to losing 90 games. JD Martinez, Miami, Seattle, San Francisco, the Angels. I heard in the last few days the Mets, which brings us to Justin Turner, who the Mets have also been talking to for the last 2 weeks. There's been no movement with these two players. But Miami's also interested. Seattle, Arizona, the Angels, same teams. Michael Wacha signed with the Royals. Kyle Gibson signed with the Cardinals. Jack Flaherty signed with the Tigers. Yuki Matsui signed with the Padres. There's talk that Brandon Belt might retire. First baseman, he was with the Giants a long time, played with the Blue Jays last year. Adam Duvall, I've heard the Mets, Miami, and the Twins. Jordan Hicks, I've heard not a lot, but what I heard is the Phillies, the Giants, Arizona, and the Yankees. Uriel Rodriguez. I've heard Toronto might be the prominent team, might be the number one team on here. Houston, Yankees, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. Michael A. Taylor. Heard the Mets, but since they made that Tyrone Taylor deal, I don't think I will cross them off the list. But, I've heard the Red Sox, the Reds, maybe not so much the Blue Jays, but maybe if they want a right-handed outfielder. Tommy Pham, I heard the Yankees, Milwaukee, the Angels. It's been a very quiet market for him. Luis Severino signed with the Mets. Ahmed Rosario has an interesting market. I heard the Giants, the Marlins, the White Sox, Oakland, Tampa, Toronto, and just recently Boston. Ahmed Rosario. This is like Groundhog's Day. Tim Anderson. The White Sox, Oakland, Giants, Miami, and Tampa. Jonathan India. I've heard Seattle, Boston, and San Francisco. Now, Brandon Woodruff was non-tendered. He's dealing with an injury, but he's a very good pitcher. Some teams should take a chance on him and have him either for the end of part of 2024 or to have him ready for 2025. I would think the Mets, the Cardinals, the Red Sox, the Rangers, the Cubs, Tampa, the White Sox, the Angels, Seattle, Yankees, Arizona, the Phillies, the Braves, the Giants, and the Padres. I would mention that the Braves made that deal for Chris Sale. That was a very peculiar trade. And I say that because I look at it and I say to myself, you're trading a young player. I know they had a lot of extra players in the middle infield, but why do you bring in a guy that has been a good pitcher but has been hurt a lot? It's a very bizarre trade. Tyler Glasnow went to the Dodgers in that big trade. Dylan Cease. I've heard Atlanta, the Red Sox, Baltimore prominently, Cincinnati prominently, and the Yankees. Shane Bieber. I've heard Cincinnati and Baltimore prominently, the Cubs, the Yankees, and the Dodgers, believe it or not. Let's see here. Paul Blackburn, A's starter. Word is not going to get moved, but I've heard that he might get moved. I've heard the Braves, the Pirates, Houston, and I've heard the Mets. I'm not sure if I heard them or not. I don't know. Logan Gilbert, Tampa Bay, Randy Arozarena, Seattle, San Diego, Miami. I've heard Emmanuel Clase is probably going to get dealt. I was hearing the Dodgers prominently, but I will put the Rangers in this mix and the Phillies in this mix. Okay? He's an interesting player. He's a difference maker for a team that needs a closer, quite frankly. Jake Cronenworth, another guy from the Padres, are probably going to get moved. The Padres could be moving him to the Tigers or the Mets. I don't think that's a possibility. Jorge Polanco, I've heard the Giants, second baseman, the Blue Jays, and Seattle. Max Kepler, I've heard the Mariners, the Blue Jays, and the Phillies. Christopher Morel, I've heard Cleveland, Boston, and Miami. Hong-Sung Kim, middle infielder for the Padres, I've heard Boston, San Francisco, and Cleveland. Believe it or not, Christian Yelich could be moved. As you know, they seem to be trying to do sort of retooling there since they had their manager stolen from the Cubs. Boston, I know he had a contract. His contract was up, but just sort of goof on that. Boston, San Francisco, and Cleveland. I'm sorry. With Yelich, I'm sorry. It's like, really. Toronto, Phillies, and Seattle with Christian Yelich. But he has a big contract. Jesus Luzardo for the Giants, Baltimore, and the Reds. Baltimore is looking to get another starter in. Framber Valdez. We've heard him a little bit. I've heard the Cubs, the Giants, and the Reds. Now, a couple names here to finish up. Two teams that could be, two players that could be moving, to be honest with you. From the Red Sox. It's just a recent thing. Trevor Story and Kenley Jansen, closer. I haven't heard any teams attached to Story. But Kenley Jansen, I can see the Dodgers, the Phillies, Texas, Arizona, the Yankees. Yankees need a closer. I'll put the Mets in here. People are talking about the Mets. I don't think the Mets are going to do that. I think he wants to close games. I don't think he would be happy here because he wouldn't be closing the games here. He'd be a setup man. And I think he wants to get the 500 saves. He probably wants to go in the Hall of Fame. He does not want to have to be the second man to anybody that has a closer. And a good one, too. And the best closer in baseball. But with Jansen, again, I see the Dodgers getting him back. The Phillies. The Rangers need closing help. Arizona. And the Yankees. You can say, why would the Yankees and Red Sox made that deal? Well, they made that deal a few weeks ago for Alex Verdugo. So, this is my updated list for you. I'm sure there'll be some more names popping up over the next couple of weeks as we get closer to the spring training. I want to thank you for coming by. Please subscribe to the Baseball Head 2, and I'll see you later.